So I am reading Crescent City, House of Flame and Shadow. I'm 64% in, I believe. That's what Goodreads says. And I don't like anyone. I like Lydia, Baxi, and Jessica. And that's about it. I feel like I learned so much more about Jessica in this book. So there's that. That's probably like the one good thing about this. But yeah, I'm gonna get to reading. I'm gonna listen to it and read it. The reason that I am going to be doing the audiobook and the physical book is because it helps me comprehend what I'm reading whenever I'm hearing it and looking at it. I got shit to do! I just finished chapter 77. I'm shook, I guess. I'm still processing. It took me a minute. I read a lot of chapters since we last talked. If you have not made it to chapter 78, please don't continue. There's spoilers I'm about to be sharing. One, Ethan just became Prime. Like, I was hoping he'd become Alpha because, like, the Prime has already asked him to be and he already turned it down. But, like, he has the abilities to be Alpha and he keeps freaking out like, I don't want to lead. Bitch, just fucking lead. People will listen to you. Just, bruh. That's probably what it means to, you know, make your brother proud, be the freaking Alpha he knew you could be. Like, come on, bro. Why are you wanting to, like, reject this? This is your path. This is your fate. Just take it. Okay? And then, this is what really, like, had me going crazy. The fact that Bryce opened a portal back to Prithian, sees Nesta, and Nesta's like, what the fuck do you want? Like, why are you here? Basically, without, like, saying that. And she asks for the fucking mask. The audacity of Bryce. The audacity. Gives Nesta her parents as collateral. Doesn't tell her parents. And I think that's what pisses me off the most, is that the fact that she put her parents, like, kept her parents in the dark, and yet told her, like, gave her parents up like that. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure Nesta and them are gonna, like, take care of her parents, but, like, you could have at least told your parents what was up. Like, I don't know. That's just, you're putting someone else's life on the line and don't tell them. Like, that's fucked. Now she has the mask because she was like, even if you don't give me the mask, just keep my parents there because they'll be safe, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I get that sentiment, but, like, that is not your call. I don't know. I just feel like she went about it the wrong way. And her parents are going to be pissed the fuck off when they come back. If they come back. Because I don't know how it ends. Okay, no more spoilers. I'm at the last 100-ish pages. So, of course, things are going to go crazy. I'm feeling really icky with the spice in this book. And it's not even that there's actual spice in this. It's the fact that these men, and some of the women, these men are, like, not thinking with their head, like, at all. You know what? Fuck it. Spoilers. So whenever Hunt and Bryce were apart for like 5 days maybe? I think that's what it was 5 days max. When he saw her again, all he thought about was how much he wanted to be inside her. Not that, oh my god, I'm so glad she's safe and that she's home and that I see her and that she seems visibly, like, physically okay. Not, oh my god, where'd you go? What happened? Blah, blah, blah. Oh my god, I can't wait to be inside you. Like, what the fuck is that? Later, after Rune is done being, like, pitying himself for feeling feelings for Lydia, and now that they're, like, okay with one another, he's, like, wants her really badly. But it wasn't even that. I was getting pissed off at the fact that he didn't realize that his friends were missing for, like, 3 days. Because he was too busy flirting with Lydia and wanting to be inside her too. Even we're at the point where they were literally searching for his friends and they stopped to talk about how badly they both wanted each other. Like, that is icky. That is gross. Y'all don't have time for this shit. And they almost did it. Like, there's time for that shit, and then there's time when that should not even be a thought at the moment. You know what I mean? The spoilers are done now. Nothing wrong with spice. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just when the plot's just not there, or if there's just not time for that. I don't know. I feel like in Crescent City, these relationships have been really, really, really rushed. I just finished it. I have mixed feelings of this book. I will say it was intriguing enough to the fact that I wanted to finish it and see how it ended and everything. I'm also very unhappy with this book. There was a lot of potential, and I know that Sarah J. Maas had written the book and then she scrapped it and then rewrote the book. It makes me wonder how the first written version of the book went, because if this was her second version of the book, I don't hate it. I just don't like it at all.
I don't hate it. I just don't like it at all. And it's terrible.
The characters, especially Bryce and Hunt, I was very upset about this book because of the fact that it felt so forced. Their dialogue just wasn't it. And then there was a lot of sexual things. It wasn't necessarily like smut, but there were like mentions of how much they wanted each other, and that just wasn't it for me. It didn't hit quite right. It felt forced, and it felt like out of nowhere. Majority of the characters in this book, except for maybe 3, I did not like or care for. Specifically Bryce, for me, most of the book, she was a dumb stupid head. Hunt kind of came across as a whiny crybaby a little bit, but to the point where it was like understandable because he had PTSD. I'm assuming because he had these memories of doing something similar in the past, and that he just wasn't ready for it to experience something similar with her. And that's explainable. You know, he already lost someone he really loved and cared for. He didn't want to lose Bryce too. Rune got under my skin a lot because of the fact that Agent Daybreak, I think, ended up being Lydia from last book, and when he found that out, he was very upset. But it became annoying when she was trying to like explain herself, and when she was trying to save his ass, and he was just like, no, you're dead to me type of thing. And then later wants to give her this pity party, and she's like, fuck you, which I was super happy about. So I really liked Lydia in this book. But again, a lot of Rune's and Lydia's interactions felt forced and rushed, because there were points where I'm like, did you actually forgive her, or did you forgive her because she now you know that she has kids? I don't know. It felt rushed, and there was the sexual tension that I didn't feel like was there until Sarah just said, oh my god, I want you, or I want her, and ugh. So all of those mentions of that, not only in Rune and Lydia, but also in Bryce and Hunt, just felt gross. Ethan Holstrom. Oh my god. I cannot stand this boy at all. He keeps mentioning the Sunball team, which is fine. That was like his whole identity before everything happened. So I get it. He's still like a college kid. That was his identity. That was who he was. But, bro, your story is so annoying. His whole plot line was so annoying. I wanted to skip it. Anytime it was in his point of view, I'm just like, do I have to read it? Does it matter? And so I would read it and I'm like, oh my god. Like, that is how I felt every time I read any of his sections, because the way Sarah wrote it. Speaking of the way that Sarah writes, she would change points of views within the chapter, and that didn't bother me, because if you've read Throne of Glass, you'd understand, okay, that's just how she writes, that's what she does. But there were points in this where it'd be in the middle of like a paragraph or like this section, and you can't tell, and it just changes somewhere, and you're like, wait, what just happened? Whose point of view am I at now? But there were moments, a lot of moments, where I'm like, wait, am I in Bryce's point of view or Hunt's? I also want to talk about Therian. I loved him when we first met him, and he started calling Bryce legs. He was this flirty, fun dude. He's not that guy in this book, and I'm so upset about it, because he also becomes like this freaking self-wallowing, self-pitying dude who Sarah just makes him fuck up over and over and over again, and I feel like she just wanted to test how many times this man can fuck up. And I hated seeing it because I loved this guy and now I don't love this guy. Sarah did him dirty, I feel like. That's just my opinion. I feel like she did him dirty, but he also did some good, so there's that. As much as I disliked this book, I was really happy with the connections I found within it with Throne of Glass. But I will say this has a lot of connections with ACOTAR, so if you've read ACOTAR, if you haven't read ACOTAR, do not start their series until you read ACOTAR, because it does have a lot of connections within it, and that's all I'm gonna say. I want to talk about the connections with Throne of Glass in this book. So Lydia has this red ruby ring, and I thought, okay, maybe it's related to Rowan and Aelin, because you know, Rowan's ruby ring. But then I realized she had golden eyes. Blonde hair, golden eyes. And I'm like, okay, those are the witch's eyes. Astrid look like that with the golden hair and golden eyes. Like, okay, I think she's related to freaking Manon in some way. Lydia's full power was fire. Who does that remind you of? Aelin. That reminds you of Aelin. But who else has freaking Brennan's blood? So my theory is, because of the fact that she has some witch blood in her, she has to be related to Dorian and Manon, because her mom's a witch. So obviously, unless she's related to Aelin through her dad. But we find out that she is actually related to Brennan, and she actually named one of her sons after him. So that was very cool. If you're curious of how I rated this book, I rated it at 3 stars for me. Only because I was interested enough to keep reading. That was literally it. If I wasn't still intrigued enough to keep reading, it definitely would have been a 2. And that sucks, because I absolutely love Sarah J Maas. I love her books. They're not perfect by any means, but I still really, really enjoy them. And this one I didn't really enjoy. And I hate that. I hate that I didn't enjoy this book. It just could have been better. That's all I have to say. It could have been better. If you're curious what I'm going to read next, it's No One Can Know by Kate Alice Marshall. This one is a lot shorter than this one. So, with how quick I've been reading books, hopefully, I can get through this one pretty fast. So I am excited about that. Next video you'll see probably be a reading vlog of this. And after that one, probably a review. But yeah, that is my review of House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J Maas. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye!